A 73-year-old pastor just became the third church leader convicted of sex crimes in 2 years. But here's what makes this story absolutely insane. Two of them are being sentenced on the exact same day for crimes against minors at the same church. And the pastor who founded it all? He's still preaching about God's grace to millions while his world burns down around him. Before we dive in, if this is your first time here, this channel covers stories the mainstream media won't touch: corruption, cover-ups, and the dark side of institutions people trust. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because you're not going to want to miss what's coming next. Now, let me paint you a picture. Midland, Michigan. Living Word International Church. Founded in 1981 by televangelist Mark Barclay. This isn't some small-time operation. We're talking about a ministry that reaches millions of viewers every week through television broadcasts. A church that describes itself as having a prophetic voice in end times. But here's the thing about prophecy. Sometimes you don't need divine revelation to see what's right in front of you. And what's been happening at Living Word International Church? It's not a prophecy, it's a pattern. Let's start at the beginning, or at least the beginning of what we know about. Meet Brandon Saylor, church elder, respected member of the community. In February 2024, he was sentenced to 5 to 15 years in prison. His crime? Second-degree criminal sensual conduct with 3 young ones under 13. But it gets worse. According to M Live News, Brandon didn't just S.A. 3 young ones. You high S.A.ed multiple young ones across a decade. 10 years. Think about that. 10 years of S.A. happening while this man held a position of authority in a church that claims to alert God's people with God's word. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's horrific, but maybe it's just one bad apple. And normally, I'd agree with you. One predator can infiltrate any organization. It's terrible, but it happens. But remember that name, Saylor. Because we're about to see it again. August 2024, just 6 months after Brandon Saylor was sentenced, James Randolph walks into a courtroom and is convicted of S.A.ing a girl over a period of about 6 years. Now, who is James Randolph? Oh, this is where it gets interesting. James Randolph isn't just another church member. And he's Mark Barclay's son-in-law. This is family. This is someone in the inner circle. Someone with direct ties to the founder of this entire ministry. And here's what absolutely floored me when I read this. Mark Barclay's response. The man who's supposed to be a spiritual leader who preaches to millions every week about righteousness and God's word. What does he say when his own son-in-law is convicted of S.A.ing a young one for 6 years? He downplays it. According to the Roy's report, Barclay argued that the criminal conduct did not occur on church grounds or during church functions. Let that sink in for a second. His son-in-law S.A.ed a minor for 6 years, and his defense is basically, well, at least it didn't happen at church. Is that really the bar we're setting here? But wait, because we're not done. Or remember that name I told you to remember? Saylor? May 2024, just 3 months after Brandon Saylor was sentenced, Randy Saylor is arrested. Who is Randy Saylor? He's Brandon's father. He's also the former associate pastor at Living Word International Church. And on January 22, 2025, at 73 years old, he pleaded no contest to 11 criminal S.A. counts. 11. Let me break that down for you. 4 counts of first-degree CSA with a relation. 7 counts of second-degree CSA with a younger one, below teen. These crimes happened around March 2018. The victims were minors. Some were family members. Now, here's a legal detail you need to understand. Randy Saylor pleaded no contest instead of guilty. Why does that matter? Because a no contest plea means he's not expressly admitting guilt. And more importantly, so it can help him avoid civil liability, meaning his victims might have a harder time suing him for damages. The prosecutor, Courtney Driscoll, actually objected to this plea. She wanted a guilty plea, but she was able to get one small victory. The court required Saylor to sign a waiver, stating that he wasn't pleading no contest to claim innocence, but only to avoid civil liability. Think about what that means. Even in his conviction, he's still trying to protect himself from the consequences of his actions. Randy Saylor faces between 10 years to life in prison. And here's the absolutely insane part. His sentencing is scheduled for March 19th. You know whose else's sentencing is scheduled for March 19th? James Randolph, Mark Barclay's son-in-law. Two church leaders. Same church. Same day. Different crimes. On both against minors. So let's zoom out for a second and look at what we have here. 3 convictions in 2 years, all from the same church, all involving CSA. 2 of them are direct family members. One is the founder's son-in-law. This isn't a coincidence. This is a pattern. And patterns tell us something about environments, about culture, about what's enabled and what's ignored. But here's what might be the most disturbing part of all of this: the silence. Mark Barclay, the man who founded Living Word International Church in 1981, the man who's built a television ministry reaching millions of viewers each week, the man who claims to have a prophetic voice alerting God's people, has remained silent about the latest conviction. In fact, on the very day Randy Saylor was convicted, January 22nd, Barclay posted a video on social media. Was it an apology? Was it an acknowledgement of the crisis in his church? Was it a message to the victims? No. He preached about living in God's abundant grace. I want you to think about that for a moment. While a 73-year-old former associate pastor at his church was being convicted of SA-ing minors, Mark Barclay was posting about grace. Now, I believe in grace. I believe in forgiveness. But grace without accountability isn't grace. It's enablement. It's cover-up. It's looking the other way while young ones suffer. And this is where I want to bring in something the prosecutor said. Courtney Driscoll has been the prosecutor in all 3 of these cases involving Living Word church leaders. She told WJRT-TV that these are very tough cases all around. She talked about the balance of holding perpetrators accountable while also weighing what's in the best interest of the victims. The victims feel pretty good about Saylor spending at least 10 years in prison, she said. Pretty good. That's the bar. After years of SA, after having to testify, after having to relive their trauma in a courtroom, they feel pretty good that a predator might spend 10 years behind bars. That should break your heart. It breaks mine. But here's the question we need to be asking. How does this happen? How does a church that claims to be a worldwide gospel ministry with a prophetic voice end up with 3 convicted offenders in leadership positions? Was there no vetting, no accountability, no oversight? Or was there something deeper? A culture that protected them, that prioritized reputation over young ones, that confused loyalty with complicity? March 19th is coming. 2 men will stand before judges and face sentencing for their crimes. Their victims will finally see some measure of justice. But the questions remain. What did Mark Barclay know? When did he know it? And what is he doing now to ensure this never happens again? Because until we get answers to those questions, Living Word International Church isn't a ministry with a prophetic voice. It's a cautionary tale. If you found this video informative, please hit that like button and share it. These stories need to be told. Victims need to be heard. And institutions need to be held accountable. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. And if you're a survivor of church abuse, please know, you are believed, you matter, and what happened to you was not your fault. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future investigations. Because I'm not done exposing these stories. Until next time, stay vigilant.